number 9, 4 Alpha, continue taxi.
Continue taxi, 9 for Alpha.
Hey, 1 for Alpha, Long Beach Tower, 30 Delta 4, clear for takeoff.
What would you do if you lost your wallet on a cross-country journey and had to rely on just the cash you had on hand and Apple Pay to make it home? That's exactly what happened to me in a previous video when I lost my wallet while flying through Canada. By the time I landed in Spokane, Washington, I had no way to pay for food, fuel, or really anything else. With no backup and limited options, I made the tough decision to hop on a commercial flight back to Anchorage to grab a spare wallet before continuing on the trip. Now, that decision didn't sit well with everyone. In fact, Instagram lit up with criticism. Some said that I made the right move, while others thought that I should have pressed on with the cash that I had and made it to my destination. The debate stuck with me, and I knew that I had to settle it. Could I have made that situation work? Who was right here? So here's the challenge that I set for myself on the flight home. I was going to recreate this scenario and finish the journey. This time, I'd be flying from Southern California to Eastern Washington, the exact opposite route that I was faced with before. This time, I would be using only what I had when I lost my wallet the last time. $500 in cash and Apple Pay. No credit cards, no extra help. But here's the catch. This time, I only have 3 days to make this work.
All right, so we are coming up right over the top of LAX right now. We are on the designated transponder code. We are transmitting on the designated frequency. We're literally going to go right over the top of LAX. We're going to pick up SoCal approach on the other side. We're going to get flight following up toward Santa Barbara today, and we're going to go from there. So basically, the valley right now, basically the entire. On the other side of these hills, there's a valley. It goes all the way up to the central part of California. It is completely socked in right now. So we're gonna actually follow the coastline up, and we're gonna start at Santa Barbara. We're gonna keep working our way up and see what we can find.
Once I passed LAX, I picked up flight following with SoCal approach. The haze was thick, and while I had an ADS-B transponder both in and out, and it did help me spot traffic, having another set of eyes really wouldn't hurt. As I transitioned over Camarillo and Oxnard, I was handed off to Santa Barbara Approach and then Santa Barbara Tower. A bit of a nostalgic moment for me. Santa Barbara is one of California's coolest beach towns. When Aurora and I lived back down in Southern California, we would fly her Bonanza up to Santa Barbara for weekend getaways, hitting the beaches or going to grab a round of golf with my cousin Mike. I loved going to Santa Barbara. But this trip wasn't for fun. This was just a pit stop. In 3 days, I'm catching a flight out of Pasco, Washington. No exceptions. After a month on the road, flying and filming, my wife, understandably, wants me home. If I can't make it, I'll leave the plane wherever I am and I will find a way to get onto that flight. Every time that I stop for fuel, I'm burning through cash. Now, most self-serve pumps don't accept cash for the fuel that the Hawkwagon takes, and I can't exactly stop at a regular gas station.
All right, let's go find out how bad these fuel prices are. I'm now realizing that by doing it this way, I'm gonna get way higher gas prices because these are gonna be full-serve fuel spots, which means they're gonna charge me more than a self-serve would. So I am a little worried that this is not gonna work, because if they're significantly more expensive, that's gonna cut into our little pool of money here real fast. All right, so let's take a look here. We took 11.5 gallons and there was an $8 infrastructure fee that we had to pay. So our grand total on that one was $82.52, which, if my math is correct, is going to be a remainder of $417.48. We are only in Santa Barbara. This is going to be challenging. Let me do a gas cap check, do a strain, and let's get in the air.
Cessna 94 Alpha, runway 15 right, clear for takeoff. Make a right downwind departure and cancel altitude restriction flights.
Cancel altitude restriction, make a right downwind departure 94 Alpha.
I'm moving on.
After fueling up its signature, my remaining cash took a pretty significant hit. The goal today was to get to an airport where I could camp, because that would ultimately save me the most amount of money. However, daylight was slipping away, and I had to move quickly. The terminal area forecast had stated that they were expecting the fog to lift over the Central Valley. However, that fog was still there, with no sign of it lifting anytime soon.
I'm moving on. I'm moving on. Got nothing left to say. Let's be on my way. Best of luck. I'm moving on. I'm moving on. I'm moving on.
All right, so here's where I'm struggling right now.
208 will advise 9157 Alpha.
If I go out to Columbia right now, I will be showing up at an airport that is unfamiliar in the mountains at dark.
Flight 3928, family with tower 124.2.
The weather in the valley is not great. So I'm gonna have to go basically VFR on top of everything down below me. The downside of that is that there is no alternate. So if it gets, I'm not instrument equipped in this aircraft, meaning I can't fly through the clouds into an airport. That basically means that my only form of destination that I've got, my only option is going to be Columbia, which is going to be in the foothills, and I'll be landing there at dark. So there's that option. But that gets me closer to where I'm trying to go, so I have less basically time on the ground right now, which gives me further north, so that tomorrow I don't have to cover as much ground, and that means I might only have to camp for one night. So we have that option. Option 2 is that I continue straight ahead, and in about 25 miles, or in 25 minutes, I'm on the ground at Oceano. Problem with Oceano, it is right on the beach. I mean, literally on the beach. Now, cool? Yes. Downside is, it's 25 minutes away, as opposed to 2.5 hours away, which means I'm not getting as much ground cover today. And there is the possibility that tomorrow morning there could be IFR conditions at the beach, just the marine layer.
Departure, climb and maintain 8,000.
So I'm kind of between a rock and a hard place right now. I am going to think for a minute on what I'm going to do.
Columbia was at a higher elevation than the fog, and the conditions were listed as VFR, so I figured that would be my best bet. But as I approached, it became very clear that landing safely wasn't going to happen. The haze had actually thickened. The runway was impossible to see, both due to the sun setting and the fact that even despite there being no NOTAMs, the runway lights failed to illuminate. This left me no choice but to make a 180-degree turn and divert to Modesto.
All right, we're changing plans again. It was just getting too dicey there, so I decided that it was more important for me to be happy and play it safe. And so I'm going to Modesto, which means that I am going to need to get the ASOS up.
Now, this is one of those moments when I wished that I had made the Hawkwagon IFR capable. I'm an instrument-rated pilot with a lot of experience flying in the clouds, but my aircraft is not equipped for flying through those same clouds. Thankfully, Modesto was hazy, but with the city lights, I was able to make out the runway. I lined up for runway 28 right and made an uneventful landing. I'm gonna level with you. I really didn't expect much from Modesto. I'd actually never been to this airport before. And once again, aviation has a way of bringing people together. At the Modesto Jet Center, I encountered some of the most enthusiastic FBO staff that I've ever met. The aviation community proved that no matter where you are, there is always great people who love aviation. As happy as I was to be on the ground and meeting cool people like the people I met at the Modesto Jet Center, there was no camping there, which means that yet again I had to improvise. Now, thankfully, I had a bit of a trick up my sleeve. I've been a Marriott Bonvoy member for over 20 years, and during that time, I have accumulated a whole lot of points along the way. I opened my Bonvoy app and I booked a hotel without actually having to touch any of my cash. I just used points. I also had a couple of free Uber rides stashed in my Uber app, so a quick ride later and I was settled in for the night.
So, we got gas in Santa Barbara. And with the fee and everything like that, it took us down to $417.48. So tonight, sitting here in Modesto, we still have $417.48. Now, I do not think I am going to get to do this again. I think I am pretty much going to have to make Walla Walla tomorrow. I have not paid for fuel yet at Modesto Jet Center. They know that I'm paying cash. I explained the challenge to them. And so that is next. I don't know how much that is going to be. It is going to be a top off. And let's just say I was pretty low on fuel. So I know that's going to be a big bill tomorrow. But for right now, I've got a comfy little hotel room. I have some DoorDash on the way, and I still haven't broken the rules of this challenge yet.
The stakes here really couldn't be higher. The question remains, can I make it in time? Or will I be leaving the airplane somewhere along the way? Stick around because this journey is going to continue in the next episode.